Peen going to give you pus, worms, parasites, and cancer part 2. Ladies, let's talk about trichomoniasis. Trichomoniasis is a very, very, very common STD, sexually transmitted disease. Your symptoms are going to develop, if they develop, they're going to develop within a month of infection. But what is trichomoniasis? It's a parasite, a living organism that eats and feeds on its host. That's what parasites do. It's a parasite, and it's very, very common, ladies. Here are some of the symptoms. Now, these symptoms are very common. As we will see as we continue the series, these are symptoms that are very, very common. All right, so here you go. But as you can see here, up to half of all people, although this is very common, will not develop any symptoms. And even though they can't develop any symptoms, they can still pass this infection on. So how many of you have a parasite living in you? Let's talk about it. Just so you know, it says here that trichomoniasis mainly infects the vagina and the urethra. Vagina and urethra. So that means you have to be penetrated in order for this to get inside you, right? In men, it most commonly affects the urethra, a gland, or the prostate gland, a gland near the blah, 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 blah. But for women, it's in the vagina. And for us ladies getting older here, we are the most common of the people who get this STD or STI, they call it. So be careful. It's very common in those with vaginas, right? Okay. Why? Because you have to be inserted into a vagina for it to have effect. But where does it come from? You cannot pass it through these means. You can't get it because of a UTI or poor hygiene. You get it by having unprotected sex or sharing sex toys that aren't washed. So that means it happens from being inserted. Problem is, it doesn't go away on its own. So you could have been affected 5 years ago. You could have been affected a month ago, a year ago. And until you get treated, it just gets worse. And guess what? Left untreated, this parasite leaves you open to the big HIV. Yep. The big HIV. Part 3 coming up next.